Other groups here, I'm going to introduce those. We're going to have some introduction. Drew's going to take over for us and have some a presentation history and ideas, and then we're going to ask for ideas from you, because the goal is to put together some ideas, vision for how Normal Heights could be improved. Although I already think it's one of the best neighborhoods in the city, right? But there is room for improvement. And our opportunity here is this one public outreach we're having today. We hope to have at least one other public outreach meeting that hasn't been scheduled yet. The idea being not only to bring together ideas, but to bring together specific ideas about capital improvement projects that the planning group is going to prioritize and provide to the city of San Diego for when and if they ever get some money to spend on our community. Okay, now I'd like to introduce, we have some people here that actually have some power to make things happen, besides me, who just gets people organized. So I would like to introduce a representative from the mayor's office, Linda Perrine, who's the director of community outreach, to let us know a little bit about what the mayor's office can provide for us and what we can provide for her.
Good morning, and before I say anything else, I really want to let you know how much you should be proud of yourselves. It's a beautiful Saturday morning. You could be at the beach, you could be sleeping, you could be having coffee someplace else, doing a lot of things.
I'm leaving.
And what you are doing is you're giving your time and your effort, your expertise, and your passion to making your neighborhood better. And you should congratulate yourselves. You should be proud of yourselves. I'm always impressed when I go to community organizations and see how much commitment there is to making the city of San Diego and specific neighborhoods better. And so my first comment is to thank you for your contribution. Mainly, I'm just here to say that we're interested in the output that you generate. You have a list of great things, some of which I think have been on the list for way too long. We in the city need to be more responsive to our neighborhoods. We don't do as good a job as we should. You have a mayor that's trying to do that, going through some tough times right now, but the highest priority for this mayor has always been neighborhoods and will continue to be. So please keep the faith, keep working, keep sending information to your city so that we can make it be more responsive. If you have any questions for me, my phone number is 619-236-7174, and my email address is lperrine@sandiego.gov. Yes, sir.
I have a memory like a sieve. Do you have a card with that written down on it?
I do. I'll give it to
We'll
Jim
have
John.
cards up front.
All right, thank you. I would
Good idea,
appreciate that.
All right. Thank you.
All right.
You know, I've been told I'm not supposed to use the I word because I'm told that supposedly neighborhoods and citizens don't know what that is. Is that true?
No.
No, of course you know what it is. You know it's about our roads, our sidewalks, our water and sewer pipes, so many different things. And what we're trying to do, much as Linda just mentioned, as Jim had said, is to try and solve this problem utilizing public input. And I want to give you just a quick sort of snapshot of where what we're trying to do and how we think we may solve this problem. But before I do, I want to thank Jim. I want to thank the Adams Avenue Business Association, the Normal Heights Community Association, the Rec Council, all of our wonderful neighborhood groups who are here, because we can't solicit public input if there isn't a group or organizations to go to collect that input. And so when we envisioned and set up the council policy to put public input as a part of our what's called capital improvement plan infrastructure, or just streets. When we did that, you know, we have to have places to collect this information. So the fact that you come here today is really, really helpful. And I want to thank also John Hartley. Where'd John go? There he is. John, a former council member for District 3, who's still in there fighting the good fight and being so helpful. Thank you for using your skills to bring people together. And before I forget, I want to just point out Adrian Granda from my staff is here. Adrian is your representative here in Normal Heights. If you have questions, concerns, thank you. He's your guy. So whether it's big stuff, envisioning stuff, or just that pothole in front of your house, I'll let Adrian know, and we'll do our very best to follow up on it. Let me give you just a quick run through of what we're trying to do. You know, we've spent the last 10 years of the city trying to correct the city's finances. They were a mess. We were enrun by the sea not too long ago. We didn't have a municipal credit card. We had all kinds of problems. And through a lot of hard work, a lot of sacrifice by our city employees, by neighborhoods and residents who had to deal with lower service levels, we have largely put the city back on a favorable path. We have our bond rating again. We have a balanced budget. We're reducing the size of our pension and retiree healthcare liabilities. And all that means that we're starting to be able to turn our attention, not to forget city finances, we have to stay vigilant, but to start talking about other problems. And this infrastructure issue is the biggest problem facing the city. It is larger than the pension problem. I'll say that again. The infrastructure issue is larger than the pension problem, and yet it has not gotten nearly the kind of attention that the pension issue did for the last decade. What are we doing to change that? When I became the council president last December, I set up the first ever infrastructure committee of the city council. That means that we have an initiative owner on the council who is responsible for this issue and a committee full of council members that have to try and tackle this problem. We're starting by looking at our internal processes to try to make them as streamlined as possible so that the money that we have to pay the street, that we're doing it as efficiently as possible and taking those savings and paving more streets, if that makes sense. We're trying to assess the size of the problem. We are now going out on a regular basis and assessing the quality of our roads. So the road that you know is really bad, we now know is bad too, right? We went out and quantified it objectively. And then we put it on the list for repair. We've done that for our water and sewer pipes. We've done that for our public facilities. We have yet to do that for a lot of other asset classes. What we've currently studied, the price tag is about $1 billion. I think once we look at all of our asset classes, it's going to be $2 or $3 billion, again, bigger than the pension issue. Right now, we are currently starting the process for assessing sidewalks. The first time ever in city history that we will be assessing the quality of our sidewalks. When we get that data back. As was just mentioned, I know they're bad. I'm aware of that, but I don't know where they're the worst and where we should start first, and for the limited money that we have, that we tackle that problem.
Normal height.
You're sitting next to Suzanne, who I know would put you up to that. So what I'm trying to say is we're trying to make it more efficient internally. We're trying to know the size of the overall problem. This, where we're at right now, is the next step in that, which is creating the processes for where public can provide input. And as was mentioned, this information is going to bubble up to your community planning group. That's going to go, I believe, in September to the community planners committee, which are all the neighborhoods. It's like the UN of neighborhoods in San Diego. All of them get together and they prioritize the entire city, and then they're going to give that to the city council to put into our budget planning. This has never been done before, but this is how we should be doing stuff. And what's interesting is some of those initial conversations, not only we added a lot of stuff because we know there's a lot of needs, but some stuff has actually been taken out because you said you didn't want it. What's interesting, what happens, you can actually save a little bit of money when you talk to the public. Curious, right? So all of that is to say, this is a part of a broader process. This is a part of a sea change. We didn't get here overnight. It took decades of disinvestment to get into this problem. It's going to take a long time to get out of it. But if you're committed to engaging in this process over the next number of years, I'm committed to being there with you so that we actually can solve this problem and get back to good. Infrastructure, as I said, I think is the biggest problem. We cannot bring jobs and businesses to a city with busted streets and sidewalks, with not enough water, with not enough energy. We have to solve it. It's not just about neighborhoods, but it's about our ability to compete on a global stage. And the last bit, because you're saying, well, this is all fine and dandy, Todd, but do you have any money to solve this problem? I'm glad you asked. We do have some money. As I mentioned before, the city's improving finances means that I think that when the mayor releases his 5-year budget outlook this fall, that you actually will see some surpluses in the years going forward. The question, of course, is what do you spend that money on? I personally believe that we should invest that money in infrastructure. I think that's a wise investment. Additionally, the council has identified roughly $800 million over the next number of years for improvements. How much of that is Normal Heights going to get? Well, that depends a lot on how well organized we are. And then lastly, of course, there's always the question of going out to the voters, like we've done for our school district, like we've done for our transportation projects, and say maybe we want to do more. If you're game to ask that question, I'm game to fight for that question. And so, to put the bow on this, the money that we're seeing in the future, the money that we have today, and the money that we may have way into tomorrow, we can only funnel projects to neighborhoods that are organized, to the people who've done the work like we're going to do today, to identify priorities, to talk about what you really want done, so that when the money comes in, whether it's a small project, a medium-sized project, or a big project, we've vetted it in the community, we're prepared, it has the support, and I can go out and grab a piece of that pie for this community. So hopefully that gives you a sense of where we've been, where we're at now, and where we're trying to go, where you fit in all of it, and I would just say you're the most important part of this process. So thank you for being here this morning, and as always, if there's anything I can do, talk to myself, talk to Adrian. I have the best job in the world, and I really appreciate all of you for giving me the opportunity to have that job. So thank you guys very much.